Now on Sunday night.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Shattering the underworld code of silence.
He's known as the most violent man in Sydney.
He was their brutal enforcer.
How does it feel to stomp somebody on the head?
Feels like kicking a soccer ball.
A terrifying gun for hire.
Any competition ring on his bad mouth and got shot dead.
Shot dead in broad daylight.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Name one person I've meant to have killed.
Tonight, he risks his life
When things go bad, they go really bad.
to expose Australia's most violent crime gang.
It's not a glamorous life. You either end up in jail or worse, you end up dead.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Why did you decide to talk to Channel 7?
I'm just to get the truth out.
Also, the real hoax.
I'm an icon. I'll be iconing on your channel.
Our national treasure.
That's a knife.
That's not a knife. This a knife.
A bachelor again.
G'day, Paul.
G'day, love.
For the first time in more than 50 years.
Are you looking for love again?
Hello, I'm Melissa Doyle, and this is Sunday Night. They called themselves Brothers for Life, and they were deadly serious. Brothers forever, a life of crime. You name it, drugs, bashings, kidnapping, murder. Which makes the interview you're about to see even more remarkable, more frightening. Goldie Atkinson, the enforcer, has betrayed the brotherhood by talking to Rani Sadler, and he certainly lives up to his intimidating reputation.
He's known as the most violent man in Sydney. 6'6", gold teeth, tattoos.
Were you afraid?
Yeah, I was.
Rodney Goldie Atkinson, a founding member of one of Australia's most brutal Middle Eastern gangs, Brothers for Life.
Goldie was a bit of an enigma, you know. Where'd he come from?
The way that they dealt with things was to shoot first, ask questions later.
Were you a hitman?
I'd like to know one person I've meant to have killed.
Are you innocent of all charges or just bloody lucky?
I'm innocent. And lucky. Lucky to be innocent.
Tonight, a chilling insight into the inner workings of one of Australia's most notorious organised crime gangs.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Will reveal the life and crimes of the man they call the Enforcer.
Do you have a nickname?
Goldie.
Well, the reason for that's your teeth.
How does it feel to stomp somebody on the head?
It feels like kicking a soccer ball.
From young Aussie surfer to head henchman for one of Australia's hardest gangs.
Evil, violent, arrogant.
Were Brothers for Life a force to be reckoned with?
Yeah, when you have a group of people who just kill at will, kill people, of course you're a force to be reckoned with.
It was a gang like no other. Its members arrogant, cocky, savage, murderous. Brothers for Life redefined how gangs operated and ruthlessly controlled their patch. And Goldie Atkinson was there when it all started.
Have a seat.
Thanks.
Sitting down with us is risky.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
He's breaking ranks, breaking a code of silence.
You've variously been described by the media as Sydney's most feared enforcer, a towering gun for hire, the ultimate standover man. Michael Ibrahim described you as a good kid, someone who could get any job done. Bassan Hamzi described you as a mad, mad soldier. How do you feel when you hear those descriptions?
I was just a bloke that would do anything for a friend. If you proved yourself to me, you didn't even have to prove yourself to me. If I thought that me and you were close and you loved me and I loved you, I'd travel the end of the world for you. That's what I think of a brother.
Why did you decide to talk to Channel 7?
I'm just to get the truth out. You see a lot of things in the paper and seen on the news, it's all lies.
The truth is that Goldie is known as one of Australia's most violent enforcers. The scope of his violence caught here on camera in a prison beating.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Never.
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah. Who's there that's died? Name one person I've meant to have killed.
What was your job?
Basically to enforce an action. If something had to be said or done, I couldn't leave until it was done. Or that person understood clearly what was meant to have been done. It was a job at the end of the day, and it's something that you like doing. It's a bit easier to do than just going to a job and working 9 to 5 for something you don't like doing.
Which part of it did you enjoy? Was it the power?
I like the lifestyle. It's quick money. I live in hotels, order room service, work out in the gym. If I've seen something in a shop, I could buy it. When you're growing up as a kid and you don't have all this stuff, it's nice.
Rodney Atkinson grew up in what he calls a pretty normal Australian family, surfing the beaches around his home in Newcastle. But the turning point came at 15 when his father fell while abseiling.
By the time we got to the hospital, he wasn't responding. So it gave us a choice of would he be in the vegetable state or do we pull the plug? And then told my mum to pull the plug.
Rodney turned to drugs and then crime, starting out small.
If you go and steal a bag of lollies or whatever, you might get heart palpitations, a bit of anxiety or the adrenaline, but after a while it stops. It doesn't happen anymore.
So with each crime, each escalating crime, it became less and less difficult.
Yeah, it just desensitises you. It becomes natural.
His intimidating size and demeanour made Goldie Atkinson a natural candidate for the job of underworld enforcer. And he was an associate of convicted killer Michael Ibrahim and his brother, bikie boss Sam.
I've always enjoyed the company of guys the same as me. Having a brother or like another family, so to speak. I never had no brothers or anything like that. Didn't have a father. So it was kind of the thing I was chased after.
You say you always enjoyed the company of people same like me. What do you mean? Like
I had
what?
the same interests in me, same hobbies.
Such as?
Just taking things they wanted to take, doing what they wanted to do. I don't know, just not abide by the laws of the land, abide by your own laws.
For Goldie, life became a revolving door of crime and prison.
In your adult life, what's the longest time you spent out of jail?
I'm not too sure, just over a year. I think the longest time is now.
Raised Christian, in prison he converted to Islam.
What's the appeal of Islam to so many prisoners?
Peace, inner peace. Before I was a bit uncontrollable, where this is 5 times a day I reflect on my sins.
Rodney Atkinson spent much of his time in jail locked up in segregation. It's where, in 2006, he formed a friendship with convicted murderer and criminal mastermind Bassam Hamzi. Hamzi, who'd been sentenced to life for killing a teenager in Sydney's King's Cross, was in segregation, but he still wielded enormous power outside.
Tell me about meeting Bassam Hamzi.
I never really got to meet him. We're all in segregation. Passing letters under the door. Throw lines out and entangle the lines and write a letter to each other. It's a way we just speak to each other in segregation.
And what did you say in these notes?
I just talked about religion, talked about freaking life on the outside, family. Just, yeah, like what I'd be doing next if I got out.
But Bassam Hamzi had big plans for Goldie's impending release. He convinced Goldie to join a gang which would be known as Brothers for Life.
What was the purpose of the Brothers for Life gang?
The Brothers for Life gang was a group that just focused on deriving large cash profits from the sale of drugs. As simple as that.
What made Brothers for Life different?
The violent nature of them, their willingness to do anything, to to further their criminal deeds, you know.
Ken Slasher Mackay is a career cop who spearheaded a controversial new police unit in 2006.
In all your years of policing, had you ever seen anything like what you saw out here?
No.
The Middle Eastern Organised Crime Squad was set up to combat the escalating problem of these gangs.
They didn't invent organised crime, but they dead set perfected it.
Brothers for Life unleashed a wave of violence across Sydney. Murders, shootings, kneecappings, vicious assaults on a daily basis. Gang warfare erupted on the streets.
You have Punchbowl Park, and that was a notorious place where criminals were taken to be kneecapped, you know, shot in the legs, murdered.
There were innocent victims, including a 13-year-old girl shot in the back after gang members demanded to see her brother.
They think that they should be able to do whatever they like, when they like, to whom they like. And that creates a really, really dangerous mix.
Brothers for Life gang.
Where does Goldie come from in all this? You know, that's what we asked ourselves.
Sydney's relentless gun war.
You've got all these Middle Eastern criminals, all very tight-knit.
Crime and retribution in Sydney's west.
All armed up, access to firearms.
Violence has again erupted.
Any competition or anyone who bad-mouthed them got shot dead.
Shot dead in broad daylight.
And caught up in the middle, Rodney Goldie Atkinson.
This guy is huge, he's intimidating, and he knows how to fight. And he's also fearless. Some of Sydney's biggest criminals saw that and saw that he was also a very loyal figure. They manipulated him. They used his loneliness and isolation and also drugs to pull him into a sense of brotherhood.
James Phelps is an author and journalist who has studied Australian crime for over a decade and followed the criminal career of Rodney Atkinson.
Rodney, he's a bit of a contradiction. You look at him and he looks like one of the scariest individuals you ever meet. He's got gold teeth, he's covered in tattoos, the beard, I mean, he's an enforcer. But then you speak to him and he's very calm, collected, almost a little bit feminine sometimes. And he seems like a very deeply caring person.
I've never seen him hit anyone. I've never seen him be abusive to anyone. I've never seen that side of him. I've never seen it.
Amanda Swan is Goldie's partner. They met when she was a 21-year-old nursing student.
He was so shy and scared to meet me. And I just thought, oh, really? Like, I didn't think in a million years someone like him would be shy and afraid of girls. But he was.
Goldie and Amanda became inseparable. They had a daughter, Mia, who's now 8. Amanda admits she was caught up in the glamour and danger of the underworld life.
It was just crazy. You can just go and do whatever you want and buy whatever you want and stay in all these nice places, and we'd go out for good food, and everywhere we went, like, everyone was so nice to him and shaking his hand, and you got like the red carpet, really.
I think you described life at one point like the movie Blow.
Yeah. Once we stayed at like Versace for like a couple of weeks and we got massages every day, and Mia had a little bed with little Versace cot sheets, and it was just fun.
Did you wonder where the money was coming from?
I used to, but like I knew he had money when I met him and stuff, so I didn't really over-question him. And I knew he worked back then, and yeah, so I didn't feel the need to really ask that much.
What Amanda chose to ignore was a savage criminal world. Police were closing in, and it was all about to come crashing down.
Coming up, behind bars.
It's not normal to beat people up and stomp on their head.
The enforcer goes ballistic.
Would you do it again?
Yeah.
For 6 years, Brothers for Life unleashed a reign of terror.
They were bad. They were one of the most violent gangs on the streets of Sydney.
There were drive-by shootings, bashings, kidnappings, even torture.
They would kneecap people, they would shoot people.
The gang's drug empire flourished and the money kept rolling in.
Brothers for Life's purpose as a gang was to control Basim Hamzi's drug empire.
It was orchestrated by convicted killer Bassam Hamzi from his segregation cell in prison.
He was commanding kidnappings, drive-by shootings, buying and selling drugs, all from his prison cell.
And on the outside was Hamzi's enforcer, Goldie Atkinson.
So what was your role?
Basically tell him what's happening. Tell him this is how it's going to happen, how it's going to go down, and that's it. End of the day, it's going to get done, that's it. I'm not going until it gets done. If it don't get done, I'll come back.
But police were closing in on Brothers for Life. Phone intercepts discovered how Harmsy was communicating with his gang. A smuggled mobile phone being passed from cell to cell using dental floss.
You see this going across the floor. On the video, you can see it's like a mouse running across the floor.
Police were listening as Harmsy, behind his locked cell door, made hundreds of phone calls a day. In all, 19,000 calls, leading to 23 convictions for 143 crimes.
It was an incredible gift, really, to you, wasn't it?
Oh, we were shot in the bum with a rainbow. A lot of the time, not even using code.
Who was at the end of a lot of those phone calls?
The majority were me.
In June 2008, Harmsy ordered Goldie to heavy an Adelaide drug dealer.
He owed a whole heap of money and, I don't know, he'd done the run or something. He took off.
When Goldie paid him a visit, police were listening in as Harmsy gave orders over a speakerphone.
Put something in his mouth so he can't scream.
I've already done it, cuz.
He's lucky I don't put a bullet in his head.
I've got blood everywhere, mate.
Fearing a murder was about to be committed, police descended on the home.
There were recordings of Bassam Harmsy on the phone telling you to put a sock in his mouth and cut off his ears, etc.
Yeah.
You say you were on the other end just humouring him.
I think we're just humouring each other. It was just all bullshit. I mean, if that was all true, why has he still got an ear?
The dealer was unharmed and Goldie escaped charges, but his number would soon be up. Not only was he doing the dirty work for Brothers for Life, Goldie was also freelancing for others. In June 2009, Fadi Ibrahim was shot 5 times in the stomach as he sat in his car. He almost died. Convicted drug dealer John Macris was suspected of ordering the hit. Investigators believed Goldie was hired to murder Macris in retaliation.
Present in the premises is Rodney Atkinson.
Hoping to prevent a reprisal, police arrived at Goldie's house in force.
What was your name? Amanda Small. And there's a young child upstairs, is that right?
Yeah.
I was in my underpants. The whole family was asleep. Just went down to the door and they stormed through as soon as I opened the door.
The entire search warrant is going to be videotaped. There's something up here.
It didn't take long to find what they were after.
Do you know what's in that bag, man?
No.
In the kitchen, a bag hidden behind a cupboard.
Okay, first of all, I'll pull out an object down the bottom here, which appears to be a police badge. Okay, there's something heavy in here. I think it might be a firearm. Okay. Okay, we have a second firearm.
Did you have any idea there were guns in your house?
No way.
Didn't it disturb you?
It absolutely did. I was so angry at him. I can't tell you, like, how angry I was.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
A black hoodie with Brothers for Life motive on the back.
When police raided your home, they found a .22 caliber pistol in your kitchen cupboard. They found a .45 caliber pistol in your bedroom, along with a bulletproof vest, a New South Wales police badge, 2 photos of John Macris, and 2 of his licence plate numbers. And you weren't planning to try to kill him?
All I was going to do is go grab him, make sure they told me where all the drugs and the cash were. As I said from the start, I'm only going to grab them, take everything off them, and that's it. Money was owed, someone was paying for it.
In relation to the Ruger .22 caliber pistol, can you tell me where you got that from?
No comment.
Is there any reason why you would have a photograph of a person, a gun and an address in a bag?
No comment.
I believe that you were going to use that firearm to go to that address and murder that person. Is there anything you'd like to say in relation to that?
No comment.
A jury found there wasn't enough evidence to convict Atkinson of conspiracy to murder, but he received a long sentence for weapons possession.
One detective was joking with me when he said to me, "You're going to be doing 10 years." I said, "Well, I'll see you in 10. Well, I got 14 years for a gun. I thought he was joking.
While serving out his sentence, Goldie was put in a holding cell with a protected prisoner, Tony Halloon, who'd bashed to death a Sydney grandmother.
I want to show you the video.
Halloon had been isolated for his own safety, but then he encountered Goldie.
Just describe for me what's going on and what's going through your head.
Just making sure you felt it.
How does it feel to stomp somebody on the head?
It feels like kicking a soccer ball.
Do you regret doing it?
Right.
Would you do it again?
Yep.
You proud of doing it?
I'm not proud of doing it. I just think it should be done. Look at the crime he was in for. Honestly, that's why people get away with pedophilia and all that stuff, because nothing ever happens to them. They get sent into a jail, they're on protection, nothing ever gets said or done, they never have a problem. They get out and they do it again.
While Goldie was in prison, police turned up the heat on Brothers for Life. And then a deadly rift developed between two chapters of the gang.
You! In the car! Come to me!
The brothers were turning on each other on the streets and even in the courtroom. One by one, police locked up the Brothers for Life. Just this week, Farhad Kwame and his brother Mumtaz were found guilty over the murder of a Sydney standover man captured here on CCTV.
Brothers for Life gang in itself doesn't exist anymore, but there is a vacuum, and we're always conscious that people will fill that vacuum. So we're always looking to make sure that we're trying to stay in front of those people that would take the place of a gang such as Brothers for Life.
Assistant Commissioner Mark Jenkins is in charge of fighting serious and organised crime in New South Wales.
Are we losing the war on organised crime?
We're not losing the war on organised crime. We are putting ourselves in the best position to be in the best possible place to be able to win that eventually, the game eventually. It's not game over, it's game on.
Police are using every method at their disposal. This week, we rode along on a series of raids designed to smash Middle Eastern gang activity.
Police are inside, we can hear them yelling. They're executing a firearms prohibition order. A firearm prohibition order essentially allows police to investigate a house without a search warrant.
It allows us to get a foot in the door. It allows us to be very, very proactive in the way that we tackle organised crime. We're not waiting for things to occur. We're getting out there and making sure that we're stopping as much as we can in the first instance.
Investigators believe these grassroots strategies are the key to stopping more serious crimes, even terrorism.
My belief is that you will see a significant terrorist act committed upon people of Australia and linked, whether it be linked from personnel to financing to weapons supply, will be linked to organised crime. You can put your house on it.
Look, I don't think that there's any definitive evidence that there's links between organised crime and terrorism at the moment. However, it is clear that the same sources for illicit firearms are available to both of those entities. And so that's something that we need to be cognisant of and something that we need to watch very, very closely.
On appeal, Goldie Atkinson was released from jail after 6 years. He says he's trying to turn his life around for his daughter.
Is that the reason you want to get rid of the teeth, the tats?
I just don't want things that my daughter thinks it's appealing. I don't want my daughter to think it's appealing to have a guy come home that's got tattoos.
But last year, he tried to turn his hand to professional mixed martial arts and was banned because of his criminal history, because he had been a brother for life.
What you find appealing and think is good at the time it's not.
What's it really like?
It's shit. It's absolute shit. One bloke sits there and gets rich and all the rest are just soldiers. They go in and out of jail. When they're used up, they'll find someone else.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
I'd like to become the guy that I was before everything changed. I would like to get back a bit of me that I chose to let go.
Goldie Atkinson is determined to beat the ban and make a go of his mixed martial arts fighting career. He also says he'd like to help steer other wayward kids away from a life of drugs and crime.